Well, here I go for this week. I'm still going to do a bowl. I've been making Texas boxes. I made several of those, sold some, given them as gifts, what have you. And wanted to make a Texas bowl. This is not my first attempt. First one was a horrible failure. What I did, I went into Inkscape. I'm not a real experienced user with Inkscape. I can just barely get around in it, but I drew me an outline with the Bezier tool. I used a download of an outline of Texas, or not an outline, a map of Texas, to make those nodes and draw that around. Then I've rounded it off in here because I don't want those sharp corners, and I left out all the bays, and the river is very crooked up there, so I smoothed all that out as best I could. And then I couldn't get it to downsize and fit properly inside, so I could nest it like you do a circle. It just wouldn't work correctly. There may be a way to do it, but I'll say I'm not a real experienced user. So I made these little squares. They're 1/4-inch squares, and I just placed them all around here to give me a pattern to go by to make that inner line. I just want a 1/4-inch ring. It's going to be a 1-ring bowl. It's 3/4-inch material, and it's all scrap that I've glued together. It's mostly walnut. There's some mahogany and some cherry there. Well, that's what I'm going to do. First I'm going to cut the outline. It's 1/4-inch and a 3/4-inch, so that should be 19 degrees. And one thing I learned in the first attempt, you cannot make a sharp turn like that at that angle. So I'm going to do my entry hole right there, and that's where I'm going to enter and go around and end up back there. And they'll still have to be sanded out. I may leave a little more than that there so I can sand into there. But say I got to finish rounding in here. Some things I got to fix up before I actually make the inner cut. First thing I'm going to do, I got my number 5 blade. I'm going to set my table at 19 degrees, and I'm going to cut the outline. Then I'll come back, go in and drill me an entry hole right there, and I'll cut that one ring off, and we'll see if it even fits and what I can make it look like. Well, I'm going to call it a success. All the problems that I had, I anticipated. Making this turn down here, I was afraid it was going to be hard, so when I cut the camera off, I had to stop and think. So what I did, I just drilled another entry hole just beside where I stopped so I could turn the blade and go on around. Of course, when I came up here, the overlap didn't match in the corner. But most of that's going to be covered up underneath the ring. There's a lot of sand going to be done. This got to come off right there. But other than that, it's matching up pretty good. There'll be some sanding to match that ring up with the body, with the base. But it's all in a doable range. So I'm going to clean up the inside of this some first. I'm going to check it and see what I can do with some of that. And then I'll glue it on. All right, got it glued together. Got to match it up with on the sander. It's not going to be a real big deal. The biggest thing, I got to sand that little knot off right there, smooth that back in. But so far, I'm pretty pleased the way it's coming out for a first real attempt, and I'm learning about how to do these odd shapes. So let me get over to the sander. I'm going to use a flexible pad sander and match that ring up with the base and smooth everything out. Well, that's the result of my experiment to make a Texas shaped box. I'm going to call it a success, mainly because I learned a lot in this. I like the way this looks. I wasn't intending for it to come out like this, but it's almost divided in the regions of Texas: East Texas, North Texas, West Texas. Of course, they're divided into more regions than that, but that's kind of a general area. I live over here in East Texas. But anyway, I'm going to experiment with this some more. And what I have learned is, and the first one I tried to cut, I discovered this: you can't cut a tight turn when you're angled like that. So I decided on this one I would start the cut here and then end it here, and that worked, except then you got to be aware that the bottom doesn't always match up. You're going to cut, the bottom of the cut will not match the cut you started. And in this case, it came out on the bottom of the ring, and it's just hidden by being glued together. Plus, I didn't have quite enough wide enough turn down here. So I learned what you can do as you get to where you can't make that turn, because it's going to come out across your ring, is you just stop right there, or ahead of time be aware of that, and drill another entry hole. And then you can put the blade turned in the direction you want it to go. Now, again, you have to be aware that the bottom of those cuts won't match. It didn't matter here again, because I was able to clean it up in there a little bit, and the damage was on the bottom of the ring. That may not always come out that way. But anyway, that's the main two things I've learned on this. And I'm still also trying to learn more about how to make patterns in Inkscape, more complex patterns. Circles and squares are easy, but I was trying to do something a little more complex. So anyway, I hope you like that, and hope maybe I'll help you learn something I didn't know. Maybe you know it now too. So thanks for watching. I've got another experiment I'm going to do. I think it depends on how it works out. Another type of bowl will be a collapsing type bowl that I'm going to make. I got a couple ideas. I may run a couple more Texas themed bowls or baskets, whatever you want to call them, here in the next few days. But thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.